All right. For some reason I'm really starting to miss the creepy Jitsi voice that tells me I'm recording. Because you're just jumping right in. It's quite a bit of anyway. Hi, hello to anyone who's watching this. You're watching a game that was arranged through the Gauntlet, which is a community on the internet that gets together and plays tabletop role-playing games online. Check them out, gauntlet-rpg.com. You'll find the nexus of all things related to what the Gauntlet does in terms of tabletop indie role-playing games. So you've got blogs, you've got forums. There's the zine that the Gauntlet puts out called Codex, which contains usually supplements to existing games and original games in itself. There is the extensive podcasting network, and of course, there is the Hangouts calendar to which this game is arranged. This is I've lost track of what session we're in, but we're in the middle of our run through Brinkwood, The Blood of Tyrants, which is a game by the San Gennaro co-op, all about rebels, brigands, coming together to strike a blow against their dystopic vampire authority ruling over the land of Cardenfell. It is a Forge in the Dark game, which means it's a hack of Blades in the Dark by John Harper. And yeah, I've been having a good time looking through this weird blood-soaked world. But who are these people that are in this weird blood-soaked world? First, I should introduce myself. My name is Leandro, use he and pronouns. I'm playing the aforementioned weird blood-soaked world and the horrible people in it. And yeah, that's all I need to know. So I'll get everyone to introduce themselves. Left to right again with the character keeper. Sorry, Alan. And introduce themselves, their pronouns, anything they want to plug. Feel free to do so. And yeah, give us a brief on your character. So I'm sorry, Alan. Well, your name starts with A, so I assume you're kind of used to this. But go ahead.
Yes, so I'm playing Drell the Foundling. My folk are the Salt folk, which are the kind of base, ordinary folk of the land of Cardenfell. Foundling because I was raised by the Fae, or at least spent a lot of time with the Fae growing up. And Drell is the brigand with no name, really. He is all about shadows, brimmed hats, and ponchos, and intimidating people.
Yeah, he's definitely good at that and cooking, which is terribly fab with him. Up next, Jamie, why don't you introduce yourself and your character?
Hi, Jamie, they, them pronouns, please. I'm playing Betula, who also goes by they, them pronouns. Betula has sworn a pact to the Fae, a pact of solidarity. Betula is of the Soul folk and the Scale folk. So they look like somewhere between, mostly they look like a tree, if we're going to be honest. But there's some Scale folk in there. They are eager to fight for the Brinkwood. They are very much concerned with their father, who wants to see them in a month's time, so they must find a vulnerability and deal with it before then. But yeah, and Betula mainly works with the spirits, works with Fey magic and the little gods, but is still learning how to best do that.
Sorry, my head's still not quite in the game. I forgot to say my pronouns and Drell's pronouns are he, him.
Yeah, so remember, we're not in StreamYard, so people can see these nifty names that we put up on the screen. It's mostly for our benefit, which is it's good, but anyone watching this don't care about what video platform we're using. Let's move on. Maria, why don't you introduce yourself and your character?
Yeah, I'm Maria, use she, her pronouns, and I'm playing Yannick, who uses he, they pronouns. He has sworn a pact of justice with the Fae. He is Sill folk and Salt folk, so basically I'm imagining mostly human with just hints of foresty leaves somehow, if you're not looking at him directly, potentially. He is raised by friars of the old faith and is himself a friar. And the tragedy that they had was that the village where they were first trained was massacred because the Countess, who is our evil big bad, is trying to actively suppress the faith, and this village also couldn't pay tribute. Somehow Yannick has started to create aspiring, mostly using his connections with the old faith that he's also started to like mentor Betula in essentially like, oh, this is how you communicate with these small gods. But I think that's mostly what Yannick does. Also likes to carve wood.
Yeah, love the Yannick, who's starting to use his tradition, his connection to tradition to create aspiring. That won't blow up in his face. And last but not least, we're introducing a new player into this refuge. So, Steven, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us all about your character?
Hey there, I am playing Stephen, he, him, and I am playing Micah, also he, him. Micah is a beastfolk, kind of with fur dappled like a deer and antlers and deer ears, I think, probably. Um, his upbringing is I went with peasant, although I imagine that the beast folk kind of live in sort of small, like the beast folk kind of live in smaller communities, kind of scattered through the isles. Profession is bard. And my I think that Micah has a kind of sprightly attitude that belies his rather the grisly tragedy I gave him, which is that my tribe were massacred by the Countess to make her favorite fur coat. Yeah. No, yeah, that's fair. That's fair, Alan. Uh, yeah, and I
Persisted.
yeah, I've persisted. I have traveled the world, not really having much of a home village to return to anymore. Uh, yeah, and I
And
think that's since then I've fallen into in with the Brinkwood.
yeah, actually, I do kind of have like a way to like bring you into where we are in this foray, if that's okay.
Sure.
I want to play out a small scene with yourself and our Fae, who has brought all these things together. Yes, no one else has have a scene with the Fae yet. Who is? It's not marked in the notes. I really should have, but the way to swear an oath with them is to make out with them. So, yeah,
He said a kiss. It was Drell who made out and did more. But for the rest of us, the minimum requirement is a kiss.
I think make. There's a spectrum of make.
And I cannot do accents, but you should just imagine everything Micah's saying with a country Welsh accent.
Oh, cute.
Okay, we'll keep that in mind. Okay, so
Can I just thank Stephen for the cultural sensitivity of not trying to go full Welsh on me.
all right. So before we kind of like jump into it and introduce Micah into the foray that we cliffhangered on last time, I want to talk about safety tools that we are using for today. First off, if you scroll, I think it's to the. I'm gonna move it up to the front actually. This tab is the safety / links tab. You'll find we've got a range of lines and veils. Lines are things that won't be crossed, just won't show up in fiction at all. Veils are things that can happen in fiction, but we're not going to concentrate on it, or we can put it off screen, so to speak. And there are some stuff that is basically like ask first. Basically, if we're going to introduce an element like that, myself included, we should like put that to the table first and see how folks feel. I'd like everyone to like take a moment. Oh, there's also a handy chart there for if anyone wants to have romance. I'll let everyone give like a moment to like look through Lines and Veils, see if there's anything they want to add and update, and if they're fine, you can type okay on the chat. But I'll give you a few moments to look through, see if there's anything else that you want to add, because it has been a while since we played a session, and what feels like 5 years worth of stuff has happened in that time. So give me a moment to look through that. It's actually got warmer here. Either the weather's picking up or just someone's just turned on the heater in June. So yeah, once everyone's okay with the Lines and Veils and that sort of stuff, yeah, we make sure to type okay in the chat. And oh, this coffee's got cold. Okay. All right. I think that's everyone. The other okay, so we'll move on. The other safety tool we're using is script change, which is basically a set of commands that kind of let us like modulate the play as we're going, and what in case we need it. Actually direct folks to the roll for party room, which has kind of like the main commands from script change that we're using on them, next to the X card there, which is there as well if we need to. So I'll go through those commands. First, there's rewind, which basically, when you rewind, you back up to a specific point in a scene and do the scene over again, avoiding whatever issue led to the rewind and trying a different way. Now, it could be any issue, it could be a name, or it could be like the tone of the scene, or even just the scene itself. And I might ask some questions on what's being rewound, like what it is, but you don't have to explain why the rewind is happening, and no one gets the question if the rewind's happening. We'll respect that. We'll roll back, and we'll try something else. Other command there is pause. Basically, pause is for if we need a break from an intense scene, whether because things are just getting intense, we're like, okay, we need to calm down until people say things, unless someone says, in case someone says something that might get a bit much, or if you need a bio break, which is basically just step away. You've drank all your coffee, and the effects is going to hit you at any moment now. It's not foreshadowing, it's just an example. And yeah, it could be at any moment, or to call for a pause. And you can also do that if you're seeking for clarity, or some discussion about the game or content, because information could just slip by. We're here to make sure everyone's kind of on the same page, and we'll pause if need be. And last but not least is fast forward. When you fast forward, you fade to black, and advance time is needed to avoid content or elements play, or just move forward in time. This is basically I feel like we don't need to linger on this scene for X reasons, or we don't need to focus on something. We just fast forward and get to the results. We don't need to describe how something terrible is happening. We can just say something terrible is happening, or this X thing is happening, and that's perfectly fine. Okay, and of course, once kind of like we've avoided or massaged the fiction that we're doing, everyone can call for resume, and so we go back to normal play. Okay. All right. That's a reminder of where we are. One of the entanglements we got last time is a taxman has started showing up in Cardenfell and taxing the ever-loving bejesus out of people, mostly like communal farms and whatnot. So one of the diggers, which is the diggers basically is a faction of radical farmers and agriculturists who are all about building communal farms. They've sent one of their own to Brinkwood to solicit help from the brigands from the refuge to basically like, hey, this taxman is going around, being annoying. Can you scare him away? And they've even given you like the lay of like this farm, Even Steps farm, to scare for your plan, for your ambush and whatnot. The tricky part is that this taxman, Emmanuel Tobin, he is joined by contingent of what are called porcelains, which are these beautiful, majestic, almost figurine like creatures. Look up exactly. Strangely beautiful creatures of marble skin, cracked and worn. They are relentless hunters of the Countess's enemies. So 6 of them have been traveling around with Emmanuel Tobin, their taxman, and yeah, I think they are coming up to Even Steps Farm, where we have rolled a control position. So we're all kind of set. But I kind of want to turn to Micah first and see like how he got drawn into this refuge and whatnot. So I guess I want to know what location, and this will be outside the Brinkwood. Like where is Micah when our fray happens upon him? Kind of like this is before like the foray and whatnot. Like, where are you when the fay of this refuge finds you?
Um, I kind of want to say I don't know why this is the first image that pops into my mind. I feel like you probably tripped, fell into a ditch, and just kind of fell asleep there during the night. And so we kind of have the image of like him like kind of like lying upside down, uh sleeping when the fae is standing over him at the top of the ditch.
um, I will say that one of the things we noted about our fae is that like they can't go out at night. The moon is as harsh to them as the sun is to the vampire. So let's say it's a dawn.
Yeah.
Yeah, dawn is coming up. So there's like the light is it's kind of like this weird murky kind of like purple that's going to turn to light. You hear birds chirping, and when you like open your and when you look up, yeah, you see Celandine, the coronet of the sun, kind of standing before you.
I kind of scramble about, try to stand up. Like I'm standing still at the bottom of the ditch, so I'm still like several feet below her, but I still do like a little bow anyway.
Yeah. Just to describe what Celandine looks like, they have blood red eyes, which I think you would notice is the kind of eyes a vampire would have. Um, their hands are furred and feathered, borrowed from the creatures of the forest. Actually, I'm going to ask you which creature of the forest is her hands like at the moment, because you see that they're holding like this necklace of fire agates, and they're kind of like in their right hand, just kind of like fiddling with them as they look at you. But what do you see their hands are like?
I think they're like owl claws, and I think that that's a little bit puts Micah a little bit on edge, since the owl folk tend to be a bit ornery with us herbivorous beast folk.
Yeah, and the other thing about them is everything else about them kind of like shifts. Is a bit different. Those are kind of like the three constants. That, and they have like these fiery auburn hair, for sure. Like what's the description I keep using whenever Jeremy's around? Burnt orange. There we go. That's kind of like the hair is like. And I think like yeah. You said you're scrambling to like stand up and bow, right?
Yep. Excuse me, milady. Is this your land that I spent the night in?
I think like you feel like a hand reach up to your chin and tip you back up, and you couldn't tell that what their height was, but you can see that they are perfectly your height, and they're looking at you straight up with their like red eyes, and they say, "Truly, this is not my land, young bard. This, by all rights, should be everyone's land. But pray tell, what has led you to sleep upon this ditch?"
Oh, oh well, there was Oh, there was a bit of a question of debt in the last town I was in, and I think I had to make a fairly hasty exit, and well, I was not quite looking where I was going, and I fell over into this ditch, and it well, you know, it was such a nice, comfortable ditch that I fell right asleep.
I think she smiles. And I think that she has this like intense look, as if like she can see right through you just immediately. Like your being is kind of your very being is being X-rayed, because she can see for you a different future. She sees how history repeats. That's one of the things we detailed about them. And I think they still got their hand on your
I kind
chin.
of look behind me as if it's just like out there behind me.
Tell
No, just
me,
the ditch.
tell me, young one, what songs do you sing?
Oh well, if it's the song you want to hear, and I just like pull out my lute and start strumming and sing a little folk ditty about start singing a little folk ditty about a love that got murdered by a woman that got murdered by the man she loved, and her body dropped into a ditch, and then I kind of cough and think perhaps this wasn't the right song to sing right as I'm standing with a stranger in front of a ditch.
I think they have their eyes closed and they're actually like nodding along to your song. And I think like when you stop, their eyes kind of open again. They've got this like quizzical look and stuff like, oh, I was enjoying myself quite a bit to this song of yours. Why give pause? Please continue.
Of course, milady, and finish through the song.
I think they give like a polite clap, which they can't because they're still holding the necklace, so it's just like that. um, that sounds like a song of recent make, but tell me, young one, do you have songs of your people, of your kin?
I do, but no one quite likes to listen to those kinds of old songs as much as I like singing them for myself.
I would very much like to hear one.
Yeah, and I think it's probably like a little like kind of mythopoetic song of the deer that loved a salt folk and so took a human form.
Mhm. I think like when you see that she's listening to it, her eyes are closed again, but there's like a real contentment hearing it. And when you're kind of like done, she opens her eyes again, and they say, "That was beautiful. Songs like that should continue to be sung, lest they be forgotten by the world, shouldn't they?"
Hmm. I could see that view. Perhaps it's why I perhaps it's because I sing those songs is why find myself so often in debt. uh, and I kind of trail off when she just kind of like because this isn't a laugher, I assume.
Hmm. Yeah. Not really.
Yeah,
She's just
I just trail
intense.
off awkwardly then.
Songs like that do not deserve to be on the brink of extinction. You don't deserve what happened to your kin and to yourself. Is it true that you're you're the last of your tribe, of your group?
Hmm. There are a few others, I think, around, but you're right. It's not so much a tribe anymore as kind of more a handful.
I think like you notice somehow they're just a bit closer to you now. I don't know how closer they can be considering they tipped up your chin, but I see you backed away a bit to sing your song. Um, but yeah, they're a bit closer now. And say, and so what do you hope to do now with the rest of your existence here?
Of I'm I'm hoping that the rest of my existence isn't to be back in this ditch here.
I think like they smile a bit, but they're not laughing. Um, and I should actually lay out what I was planning to do because what's the Fey pack that you picked?
Beauty.
Yeah, so
So
we are
this is works in pretty well so far.
yeah. I think like they smile and they say, "Well, you've told me what you're running from, but what are you running towards, young one?"
Well, I'm running towards, I suppose, a place where the old songs are sung and new new ones can be born.
Do you believe that is possible with the way things are at the moment?
Well, a lot of people tell me about what things are can and can't be possible. It doesn't stop me from doing them.
I think they smile just a bit more broadly now. There's something a bit feral about that smile. You say.
Uh, uh, I'm a deer. I don't like feral.
They're like they modulate their smile a bit then. And then they open their mouth and they start to sing. And but alas, if Celandine sings, embers spark off her tongue and erupt into birds. So that happens. What kind of song do you think they're singing? I assume you can intuit this since you're a bard. What's at
I
least
think that
go ahead.
I think that she is singing a love story, like not like between two people, but between like the Fae and the Brinkwood. Like the Fae and the Brinkwood, about how like the Fae spurn the Brinkwood for a time, and how they find themselves at fault for all that happens to it now.
Ooh. Yeah, and I think these birds do come about, and you can see that weird fey magic or like that effect as kind of like this song literally kind of sweeps around you in the form of these birds. And when they stop, they kind of like put their free hand in the mouth and they say, apologies, my tone was off. For most of that, I hope if this imposition is not too much for you, I hope to solicit some help from you in learning new songs, in learning new ways to see the world. They're leaning they're getting quite a bit close now, and their eyes are on you.
I suppose I could oblige.
Um, I think they're not, and they say, I could give you a chance to ensure those songs of yours, they never need be driven into the ground because of malice or hate or petty greed or anything that would be untoward to you or your legacy. I could ensure that in some time all of Cardenfell can know the beauty of the new. Can I hope to have your help in this?
You can.
That's wonderful to hear. And I think trying to figure out how to play this whole kissing thing. I'm playing who suggested making out?
Yeah, I think you suggested.
It was
And then
Alan, I
like
have to
Micah
say.
blushes and like scratches at his cheek awkwardly under his fur, and kind of mumbles, "Oh, well, I just have never kissed anyone before."
I think like Celandine takes takes your chin again and just says, well, let me show you how. And once the kiss is done, you find yourself at Even Steps Farm. Once you finish kissing, you're suddenly at this farm. And I think we'll turn to where the other, if that's okay, to cut you off there, Micah.
Yep, that's fair.
Yes, of course, Jeremy. I have to be forward. I'm the GM here. So because we were in a control position, everyone is going to be in a place to be where they are. I think what the diggers have given you is kind of like any place in Even Steps Farm, includes a big farmhouse. That's where Emmanuel Tobin, our taxman, is going to be there first. Actually, I think Micah, you're gonna when you like the kiss is over and you don't have to describe how that feels. I don't know how fake kisses. I don't have that experience. I think you will find yourself in front of this farmhouse, big like townhouse. But humble looking. I don't know how that
But
makes
I
sense.
want to say like too much tongue, but if the tongue was made of fire.
All right, cool. Yeah, sure. I think it's different for everyone. Yeah, no, we'll probably spend next session on the detail how everyone else made their packs because we gave you so much. Yeah. So I think, Micah, you find yourself like, yeah. And you can see, you're on this road next to the townhouse, and you can see, there's a farm around you. I'll get everyone to add a detail about this farm. You can see up in the hill, there's like a carriage and a wagon going up, towards the townhouse. I think inside the townhouse, the farmer who's in charge of this is talking to the other three. And this farmer, what's the name I'm going to give them? Vika. She is like mid-30s, tall and brawny, farmhand strong, is the vibe that she has. And she's looking at the three.
Just one observation. I have to say, I thought we were trying to avoid collateral damage here.
Oh yeah, no, she's talking to you to tell you, like, so basically she wants to know where you all are gonna be, just so.
Okay.
I think because this is kind of like her, she's kind of in charge of the farm, and she just wants to ensure that, like, whatever your plan is going to be is gonna be okay. And this is kind of like a way to introduce Micah to the three of you, because I think yeah. So I think like she's kind of sitting on a chair, but her back's to the front. And just look at the three of you, and this is how we're gonna introduce like the three of you, kind of like when we open up this episode after this random digression with this bard. Vika's looking at the three of you and says, "Now, I've heard of what happened in Shipford Isle, and it was quite a spectacle, and we're not sure yet if there's no repercussions for this spectacle, but I would very much advise if we try to keep such spectacle to a minimum here. We're just trying to live a life that we are all looking for outside of the gaze of the Countess. And we very much appreciate your help in this. So I'll leave it all up to you." I think like she's kind of looking at the three of you, and we gotta get like a panning shot of you three, and we'll start with like Yannick. I kind of want to know what Yannick's like demeanor is, as we're about to scare someone off, apparently.
Yeah, I think Yannick is I was like imagining him maybe like pacing a little bit because he does want to avoid hurting anyone who isn't involved already. I think like hands behind his back, kind of attempting to look like he's in control, but I mean compared to Drell and Betula, he's not quite as intimidating looking as they are.
Pan to Betula. What's their demeanor like? As like Vika's like trying to make sure that everything's gonna be fine.
Yeah, Betula is sitting at the windowsill, watching the birds, and Betula turns and says, "Well, spectacle or no, we will make sure to put the safety of those around us first. We assure you that."
Cut to Drell. Looking Drell, I assume. Looking like Drell.
Yeah, I think probably Drell is sitting there with a cup of something in front of him, looking down at it. And we don't always see the brim of the hat speaks, and he says, "We will do our best to ensure he just doesn't visit."
I think like Vika nods with a bit of trepidation at that, because Drell's intimidating. Even though she thinks she can probably take him on with a hoe. But she just says, everyone's hidden themselves away. You have leeway on how to ensure this Tobin doesn't come back here again. But I think like at this moment, the three of you kind of like feel a fluttering of wings, in like the back of your mind, kind of like and it's a sensation you kind of like associate with Celandine, for sure, and you kind of hear this fluttering in the direction of outside the townhouse. Who comes out to like investigate and sees Micah there?
Drell will certainly go and investigate.
Yeah, so Micah, this tall, behatted individual just sees you.
Play nice, Drell.
I don't quite know how traits work, but I do they cost me anything to invoke Fey Loved?
No, it doesn't, unless it says there's a cost, like once per session or whatnot. But here it
Okay.
says no.
Well, I think probably we see Drell, look from under the hat at what's turned up, and we flash back to a conversation between Celandine and Drell before we left the forest, which is her just being there while he's asleep, but he kind of shakes himself awake, and of course he's rolled on his side. We never see his face, and she's looking down at him, and she says, I will ensure you get some help. And then we cut back to the farm, and we see the hat go.
Micah, how are you feeling?
And I gesture Micah into the farm.
Hello, my dear walking shadow. One meets such interesting folks on the road, it seems.
You can call me Dark.
Very on the nose. It's good to know you.
I think we've been here for an hour and a half. Well, the recording is going to say an hour. So I'm going to call for like a first break as you're going to come into the townhouse. And then we'll have like our first interactions with the other two. Then we can scare this man. But let's come back in a good 10 minutes because we've been here for quite some time. Let's come back in 10. BRB. Okay, so I do want a quick scene of interaction between Micah and the other two before we finally jump to where you are once Emmanuel Tobin kind of rocks in. So Drell walks in, looking all Drell, and behind him is, there's Micah. And Vika.
Greetings all. I appear to be have landed here in a farmstead. Apparently my future lies here, so greetings to you all.
So, how was the kiss?
I don't have much to compare it to, but it was all right.
I see.
Yannick is like blinking. Betula, you don't ask these questions right away.
Well, I find that whatever their answer is, they say everything I need to know about them. And I feel that is the case here. I think Micah's a good sort.
I tip my hat and grin, unperturbed by all this.
Vika's just sitting there, just like, right. Anyway, Emmanuel Tobin, he'll be coming in. Let's see, the Cardinal equivalent of 20 minutes. I don't know what that is. And she just kind of stands up. Oh.
Does anyone remember which approach we agreed to take? I know we're going to frighten the tax collector, but I genuinely can't remember. Was it subtle?
Yeah, we went with subtle, I think. Like a real subtle.
Okay.
Okay, and the only bit of this plan that we had beyond that, did we talk about how we're going to remain unnoticed? I mean, the assumption I think is that Drell's going to put the frighteners on him, but did we actually define how will we remain unnoticed? Because I got no recollection of that at all.
Oh my gosh, should we go with something else? Because I remember talking about getting the spirits to help scare him. Yeah.
I think we moved from subtle to
Was
either
it
dramatic
tactical?
or
Yeah, I think tactical.
okay.
I think Maria's right.
Because I
How will you gain the advantage? Yeah.
I think it was like I think we wanted to reduce collateral damage or something.
Yes.
Or Yannick was just like, Drell, don't just kill everyone.
That's right. And that's why we went on the idea that we needed to intercept him before he got here. Yeah, that is beginning to ring a bell.
Okay.
So, different question. How will we gain an advantage?
What I will say is I will describe where he is, and you can just say like where any of you pops up, including you, Micah, who has been dragged into this. I think we described Emmanuel Tobin. I think the closing shot of the last session we had was Emmanuel Tobin fast asleep inside his carriage, holding a goblet of wine, because he is. And then the carriage hits a bump, and he's like, and he spills some on his breeches, because of course. And he's just like, yeah, whatever. And then he kind of shakes the goblet a bit, and the goblet refills back with wine, and he drinks some. Yeah, no, this goblet keeps filling up with wine. It's amazing. And we get there's two basically vehicles. There's the carriage that he's in. It's being driven by just some dude. You can tell he's just some dude. And behind is what's like a cart. And on the cart are these 6 beautiful porcelain statues. And he's kind of driving up a hill and looking down at Even Steps Farm. Because you're in a control position, I'm kind of gonna ask each of you where you are kind of like positioned on this hill path. And I'm gonna say like the path downwards. There's like forest to give it cover, for sure. And it's not like a steep like that. That's ridiculous. But there's enough like cover for folks to like hide, for sure. I guess like if the plan is like to scare Drell, I think the main thing is just like how to like keep him in place. Emmanuel Tobin, I mean.
Can I propose an idea?
Ooh.
What if, since they're like 2 separate carriages, we steal he's in the carriage? What if we just take out the driver and like drive that away somewhere where Drell can do the yelling and the scaring, while the rest of us like keep the porcelains from killing people / the person driving?
Yeah.
And suddenly it becomes clear why Micah's been drafted into this, because he's the only one of us with any expertise in handling a vehicle.
That true?
Finesse.
Oh yeah. Handle a vehicle, yeah. It's true. You're the one person with a dot in finesse. Micah.
So that sounds like Micah and Drell drop on Tobin's carriage and drive it into the distance, while Betula and Yannick distract the porcelains.
That sounds good. Unless anyone
Does that work?
We'll see how Betula and Yannick deal with the porcelains.
I can put on the mask of violence. We're okay.
Okay. Let's go with that. Then if everyone's given that the only way to get that wagon away is to have Micah drive it away, I think, under stress,
then I guess we could have him drive it away to another location.
Mm-hmm.
And the 3 of us try to see. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how tough these porcelains are going to be. Oh, hang on. I have. Oh no, I should have done that before we started. I'll shut up.
I asked y'all if there's anything you wanted to do before we jumped it for it, but you're like, no, let's do this.
Can't you have a
We can always
flashback?
You can flashback. You can flashback to.
How much does a flashback cost me?
Depends on the complexity of the flashback. But
Well, I've got
but the highest cost is usually just 2. The limit is 2. That's for incredibly like ridiculous sort of.
Okay. Well,
I paid off 5 guards, and 4 of them betrayed me. I fed up with this world, but one of them was my best friend. That sort of. Okay, that's not. That's not.
Because I've got a trait called Scout. Gain +1d when gathering information about the vampire's forces.
Okay, so what do we see in this flashback?
Well, I suppose what I'm trying to do is to get some idea of what porcelains do. Because I don't know if Jamie invented them, but they are these things, and we know nothing about their capabilities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what I pay 2 1. Well,
I'll tell you the cost of the stress. Tell me first, how fictionally is Drell gathering this info?
I think he is probably. He doesn't really have much in the way of a skill set. Oh no, hang on. He has consort with friends or connections to gain access to resources, information, people, or places. So I think that probably the flashback is to him in an alehouse frequented by soldiers, because I can't use my associate Steve until that line is taken out that I drew through him the last time I used him. I don't quite know how I do that, but I'm not going to do it now. So I think it's just consorting with soldiers who will have seen the porcelains in action.
Yeah. Let me just go through. So yeah, that's with consort. I'm gonna say because you're kind of putting yourself out there. It's a 1 stress flashback. You're asking quite pointed questions about the forces of the Countess. Questions that like someone who want to take care of them would be asking. And I'd say it's gather info. So I think it'll just be a fortune roll. But the stress would be like, just from putting yourself out there. So you get 3 dice. I know 2 dice.
Okay. So I reroll the top 2. Oh, a 6. A 6 of the 2.
Cool. So here's kind of what you find out from like all the mutterings and people talking about them. Porcelains are strangely beautiful creatures of marble skin, cracked and worn. Rumored to be dolls the Countess has grown weary of. They hunt the Countess' enemies, relentlessly eager to earn some small measure of her grace once again. So that's the main thing you know. They're not statues. They are people encased in porcelain. And the cracks on their skin come from them moving. They are basically like people who have fallen on the favor from the Countess. So they're probably not as hard as having to fight actual marble would be, but there are people underneath there. They fight with throwing knives of silver or even pieces of their own jagged limbs and flesh. So that's fun. So I think like what kind of does that what that does means you have a better understanding of what they're doing. So it means depending on how you're gonna deal with them, you can have an extra effect or a different positioning. But I think that's what you find out. I think that's the main thing. And you can ask a follow-up question since you rolled 6.
Well, that sounds like they are a kind of straightforward, inverted commas, weapon attack. They're not supernatural in their nature.
Yeah. Well, depends.
Well, they're weird, but it's not like they sound like they're going to have jagged daggers that they can throw, and probably that porcelain adds some degree of protection.
Yeah.
Does that seem like a reasonable assumption? Yeah.
I'd say this info will raise your effect on them for sure, because you were starting at a low bar because of what they are and their tier. But that kind of info will like raise your effect on them.
So what tier? I mean, is my follow-up question then? What tier are they?
Mechanically, what I have written down here is they're 2 tiers above you. They are tier 2 kind of enemy.
And
Hey,
there are
look,
how
Jamie was the
many?
one who introduced them into this.
And there are how
Delicious,
many?
delicious XP. Give it to us.
And how many of them are there?
There's 6 on the cart.
Holy shit! Okay,
Don't
Nope.
worry. We got this.
Yeah, look,
you
the
sure you sure you don't want to drive them off a cliff?
thing is, you're
We
not.
could do that.
It's actually, let me look at the map. Are you even anywhere near cliffs? You're in Hogswick.
There's a lot
so-
of water.
Well, that's true. Jeez, where is
And
Hogswick?
porcelain can be heavy.
And how
No,
does Micah feel about driving a wagon off a bridge into a lake and jumping free?
That's a lot we're asking of the new guy.
You had sort of mentioned that we were supposed to scare this guy. I hadn't quite realized we were jumping straight into the murder here, but I suppose we can manage something.
So what I'm wondering is, do we drive the porcelains off, or do we drive Tobin off? We're agreed we need to separate him.
I would say that I don't think any of you know enough to know whether it's to drive the porcelains or Tobin off. So you might as well do both. All right, I will ask, who is stopping this two vehicle like convoy, because they're moving down Even Steps Farm, but who's gonna try to halt them in their tracks? Because as far as we see, the 4 of you are still kind of like hidden. I can see any of the other 3. I'll move away from Joe for the moment because he just rolled. So yeah, who wants to stop them from moving?
I can imagine Yannick stepping out, sort of like wearing a cloak and like pretending to be in need of assistance.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So yeah.
Yeah, a spare poncho.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we see out there, and yeah, we're just gonna say you see out there, and like the carriage driver is just like puts the horse to a halt, and the cart behind him, which I think you kind of notice as well, doesn't have a horse. It just looks like it's following the carriage. And the driver's like, hello? Is everything okay there? And you hear like the carriage door open, and Tobin's just like, what's the hold up there, driver? We have places to be. We have like, and he waves his goblet, and you hear wine sloshing. And the carriage driver's like, sorry, Mr. Tobin, sir. Hello there. What is this?
Yannick's like kind of hunched over, and it's like, can you spare a poor traveler some assistance?
Okay, here's where we go to an action roll.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Go ahead.
I think I'm gonna use sway.
Mm-hmm. Okay, the position, you start in a controlled position. So starts with controlled. I'm gonna say the effect is standard. And yeah, so we start from there, and then I'll go through different ways that you can upgrade that. You can trade position for effect. So we can go to risky, but it's gonna be great effect. Which that just means your action is going to do much better, but the complications are going to be worse if you roll a mixed success. It's always fun. You can push yourself, as always, for 2 stress or 2 essence, or take a mask bargain, but you haven't put on a mask yet, so you can't really take a mask bargain at the moment. You can push yourself as always. Or you can do this thing, which we didn't introduce last time, which is a ban. When a brigand wishes to succeed at a cost without rolling, so it'll be a mixed success, but that means you don't roll. They may take a ban. A ban bars the brigand from using a mechanic and narratively something important, which is on their character sheet. Think, bans against silver, cold iron, or wood. Although I will say this only happens if you put on a mask, actually, nothing about it, because the mask negotiates with you on what the ban is. So that's something to keep in mind. And there's like a level of bans that that would make sure that would like and it could ban something like even an entire mechanic or an action. Like I could put a ban on your consort, and you can't get rid of that until you go into downtime. But that means you succeed without having to roll. So that's the trade-off there.
But I need a
And-
mask for that.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want to like, as you're hunched over, do you want to swear to a mask, or do you want to just
Or we
sway
can
right
say
now?
it was actually there the whole time.
I think
depending
I
on
feel
how
like
we
I'm
go.
just gonna sway right
Okay.
Go
now.
for it.
I will take. I'll take some stress.
Okay, that's 2 stress. It's
Stress.
on column row 39.
Yeah.
So it gets you an extra die.
So I'm like putting all of my Yannick's like acting skills into this right now.
Okay.
Uh,
Sadly, you can't bless yourself.
No, alas.
Okay, so it's controlled standard. Do you want to trade position for effect? Put yourself in a risky position.
Yeah.
Okay. Risky, great.
All right.
2 dice.
And 2 dice.
See, the nice thing with being risky is like you can get to it. I can put you in a desperate position. Things happen.
I rolled 2 2s.
Oh bother. Okay, risky complication.
Mhm.
I think because there's a halt, 2 of the 6 porcelains, you see they're suddenly out of their cart. I think I kind of described them as having, I want to give them like a weeping angel as kind of effect where you can't really see them moving, but there's still, it's not literally weeping angels where if you look at them they don't move and you wait for it to blink. I think they're just kind of like moving in fits and starts, and you see 2 of them have departed from the cart, and it's kind of like looking down, and I think that Tobin's just kind of like, we're on a time schedule. What's the name for this character? Mart. There we go. Mart. We've got things to go to. We need to get to even steps soon. If need be, just run this man over and compensate him for later. It'll be much better than what they'll get from. And I think he sees the porcelains moving. It's just kind of like, and they kind of go back into the carriage. You're now in a desperate position, Yannick. Do you want to resist that? Sorry, desperate position gets you XP.
Oh, I like XP. Well,
That's why people trade position for effect, because
yeah.
you put yourself in desperate. That means you can get XP whenever you roll. So that's a complication. You're in Yannick is now in a desperate position. Do you want to resist?
Okay. No, I'll take this consequence of my actions. This is what I get for trying to be like Drell.
I will
So this
say
is
only.
Drell's fault. I understand.
Yep.
I would say only Yannick is in a desperate position. Everyone else is still controlled. But I think
in that case,
Go ahead.
I have
unless someone has an idea. No. Go ahead, Steven. Totally go ahead.
I still am concerned that the objective was to separate the porcelain from the guy, and we've now discovered that their cart follows his. So my suggestion at this point is let's settle for separating the porcelains into 2 and 4, and drive that cart, the tax collector out of here at speed.
Oh, because I was gonna say that while they were all paying attention to poor Yannick, alas, poor Yannick.
Were you gonna steal it?
You're gonna go.
Yeah,
inside the
I was gonna
carriage?
try to scurry up onto the his carriage.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I think I'll regard an action roll to get inside the carriage, because these porcelains, I think they're probably past the carriage door, but like they're concentrated on Yannick. They're about to like surround him. So you can, but you're still in a control position. So you're fine. What are you rolling with, Micah?
I'm rolling with Prowl.
Okay. So I think it's controlled standard, for sure. Actually, no, it's controlled. Actually, it's controlled limited because the porcelains are on the move.
And I have an idea for how to get them separated if people want me to, if people are okay with me taking another action after this. But I have an idea.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Take the lead. We will support.
We'll see if you get
Cool.
there first. If you get into the
let's
carriage.
see. Let's see. I can. It's 2 stress as usual to push yourself, right?
Yes.
Cool.
No one's put on a
And
mask yet. It's interesting.
I'm going to. Don't worry.
Okay. Okay. So that's 3 dice.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's controlled limited. So go ahead.
I guess I'll take. Yeah. I'll take that up to risky standard.
Okay. Push up the desperate grade. No, I think you don't need.
I don't think I need Gretzvik
Yeah.
rate just to get into the
Yeah,
cart.
yeah. Risky standard. Just bring yourself closer to to a desperate.
Cool, and that's a 6.
Hey. So I think Tobin closes the door after he stopped yelling because he sees the poison. He's like, "Oh, they'll take care of that." And when they turn around, what do they see? With them in the carriage.
Yeah, I am going to make a. So what is it called when you don the mask? Just donning the mask.
Yeah, you're donning the mask and then you're gonna swear an oath. Let's see. Let
Okay.
me read through this. At any time during a foray, brigand can put on the mask brought with them and wear it. When a brigand dons a mask, they must choose to whether to pledge an oath to honor their pact. If they do so, they will gain essence, but will need to take actions that honor their pact during the foray. And you can also add blood sterling to the mask, 1 blood sterling per 1 essence. We only have 1 blood sterling with us at the moment, so we'll save that for later. But yeah, basically, you can put on the mask at any time during the foray, and you will swear something, and then the mask will ask of you something, and if you honor it, you get XP for that mask. Usually involving the pact that you swore with the Fae. It could be like changed depending on which mask you wear.
Okay.
Which mask are you putting on?
So, like, is there like a guide to what I should be swearing?
Well, the thing,
Because that's all I'm a little bit unclear on.
the guide is what that pact, the pact that you swore to Fae, which is beauty.
Okay.
And the mask will give you what the oath is, what you have to honor. So don't worry about having to come up with something you have to honor. I'll come up with that.
Okay, so I'm effectively just kind of invoking like my beauty thing.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, I am donning the Mask of Lies. And
the way we describe how we put on these masks is like they're actually like bits of ash or like charcoal that you can like put on your face and then you just turn into the mask, right? I think that's how we did that. So I think the mask is actually a bit different depending on who's wearing it. So what does the mask?
Yeah, I think that's written in all ways. Yeah, and I think that let me go to the mask sheet to.
Yeah. So are you swearing to? Let me see the wording again. So do you want to pledge an oath to the Mask of Lies?
Yeah, I'm gonna pledge an oath that I will bring about lives and myths, glorious, absurd and glorious in equal measure.
Yeah, and I think let's see. This is one of the masks where we did not detail a voice. So I think you hear kind of like this voice, this kind of like giggly, effervescent kind of voice. It's different from which is the voice that we gave a sweet one to. Oh, Riot. Riot has the sweet voice. This is a more effervescent sort of. Oh, newly sworn to the Fae, and yet already eager to spread their word. That's lovely. That's absolutely lovely. That's wonderful. Lies can be seen as tricks, can they not, young Micah? Good tricks. Ways to see the world differently. You want to bring beauty to the world. You want to bring creativity. Show this man the possibility of something better. Show him that he can be better, that he need not die for the services of the Countess that he may choose something better, despite the odds against it, because they are frightfully difficult odds, young Micah.
And so if I pledge this, I get 1 essence, right?
You roll, and then we'll see how much.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, I'll pledge that.
Okay. You're gonna roll 1 die, because that's how many oaths you have pledged at the moment. Because the thing is, you can like choose to not fulfill this oath, and then put on another mask and pledge an oath to that in the next game. And so technically you have 2 more dice, but you incur more stress. But so for the moment you only have 1 oath pledge. So roll 1 die.
And that's 4.
Let's see, how much is 4? How much essence is 4 again? Where is that? Sorry,
And when you're donning a new mask, you pick 1 ability and how many dots?
Assign 3 dots.
Yeah,
3 dots. Okay.
2 to 1 action and 1 to another.
Okay. Cool.
Yes. Essence. I don't remember how much you get. Where is that?
I found it in the GM sheet.
Yes, there
4.
it is. Yeah, 4 essence.
Okay.
Okay. And yeah, pick a special ability. And yeah, so what does Emmanuel Tobin see when they turn and to see you donning this mask?
I think that it is almost on me like a almost a harlequin's mask of like ash and ember.
Is it scary?
I think that a bit. It's scary in a kind of comic way. A bit like some clowns.
Yeah. I think like Tobin's just like he kind of slams himself to the side away from you, and he drops his goblet of ever-filling wine. So wine is spilling into the floor now. It's
I
just
put my hand over his mouth. No, you fool! Don't scream! Don't let them know that I'm here. And I lean in and whisper to him, "I've come to warn you." It's Tobin, right? Is his name?
Yes, Tobin.
I've come to warn you, Tobin. I have heard stories that there are those among the porcelain who have taken, oh, what's the word? Issue with your position, and have been discussing how they might, oh, what's the word? Behead this little man and drink his blood, that kind of thing. And I'm spending 1 essence to use the deceive action to whisper a rumor in someone's ear.
Yeah.
They will believe that rumor and most likely act on it.
Okay. I think I'm gonna get you to roll deceive. Oh.
This
Yeah.
does overlap with sway.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, you can. You're achieving mass coherence. So you can roll the lower of the 2 for increased effect.
Yeah.
Which is fab. I would say that the way that ability works, he will believe this rumor, this roll, to determine if he acts in a way that is detrimental or beneficial to you.
Sure. So I'm gonna do that coherence. Gonna go try for it. So my sway is 1 to begin with. Do you have a mask bargain for me?
Ooh, well, I should have given you precision in effect.
Oh, right.
Yes. I think you went from controlled stand to controlled great. for achieving mask coherence. You have 1 die. Mask bargain. I think let me look up again. I think the bargain is like this mask starts to like radiate kind of like your rumor, and I think it's your words will kind of get heard by one of the porcelains uh, outside the door. If you do not take care of all the porcelains, you will get 2 extra heat at the end of this foray.
I trust the rest of these strangers I just met. I'll take that bargain.
Okay, cool. That gets you an extra die. So that's 2 dice. Controlled great. You're there is no way unless 2 dice.
I have only 2 dice, so there's like a 25% chance I fail.
Yes, yeah.
But that's a 4. Cool.
Hey,
Nice.
yeah. 4 in the controlled is pretty good. I think So I think you will. I think if you go forward with this, the complication is going to put you in a risky position. Because I think you will see in the kind of like in the shadow behind this door, you see the porcelain kind of like standing there, and they kind of start turning their head towards where you are, as you kind of like as Tobin's just kind of like
Send them out on a fool's errand. I have allies that can protect you from their wrath.
I think they're nodding very hard because they're absolutely believing the rumor that you're whispering in his ear. So for the moment, Emmanuel Tobin is yours, the brigands. But let's deal with what's happening with Yannick outside. Let's turn to Betula. Betula, you can see Yannick, kind of has stopped the carriage, but I think the driver is going to like, you might, I don't know why he sounds like the Big Show in my head now. You might want to move soon. I don't know if I can. And one of the portions is kind of like stopped, but there's another one that's kind of like has inched. And I want to ask Betula, what does this porcelain look like? The one you're seeing inching closer up to
Ooh.
Yannick.
Yeah, this one, there's something about her skin that pulsates, like the flesh is infected underneath, and her eyes are bloodshot from what you can see behind the mask. But the smile that's carved on her face is perfect.
Perfect, and it's not moving. And I think, this face has this almost like gentle, beatific kind of smile. It's kind of like, yes, exactly like that cat. I think that's why.
Sorry, my other cat keeps moving.
Mm.
She keeps more. She's starving dramatically.
Yeah.
It's an hour early. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So, Betula, what do you do? I do want to turn to you. One of them is coming up to Yannick.
Yeah, I think so. The Mask of Lies asked that what do we do with the porcelain exactly?
Well, the main thing.
The Mask of Lies asked us to like turn this guy in the cart rather than just in the carriage rather than kill him.
Yes.
Ooh, but I mean, there was like a mask bargain. I'm trying to remember.
Oh, the bargain is that like the porcelain heard the Mask of Lies kind of like it radiate its power, so you just get 2 extra heat if the porcelain are still around. Which you don't have to take them out. It's just 2 heat. Like, come on. That was the bargain. Basically, you get 2 heat if the porcelain aren't all taken out. Considering there's 6 of them and they're tier 2 and you're tier 0, I'm just saying, like.
Well, I am
trust
willing
y'all.
to put on the Mask of Violence and take a ban to defeat them.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Did we put? No, we did not for violence.
Yeah.
I think the voice. So are you gonna pledge an oath?
I will. I'll say, I will fight for those who cannot fight against those that would bleed them dry, of coin, of blood, of livelihood. I will fight in their stead, and I will be brave for them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Solidarity. So I think let's see. Mask of Violence speaks to you in a very kind of direct sort of. Actually, I think their voice is kind of sad. Their voice sounds tired, tired and but cold, as they say. Actually, they ask you, those creatures wrapped in marble and rock, do you believe that it is possible to save them?
I do not know Violence, but I feel between the two of us, it is your eyes that would tell me if they are worth saving. I will trust what the mask sees.
I see wretches that have determined that service to the Countess is better than service to all. There must be an example, not just for this small clearing of yours, but for all to know that those who find themselves against all who would unite will be met with violence. So I ask of you, young Betula, one whose family is soaked in sin and blood, to repay with blood, to take this porcelain and show them the consequences of what they do.
And so it shall be. I shall give you my body to do with it as you will. And as I say that, I start to draw the ash on my face, and the ash starts to drip down like blood from my eyes. And I will swear that oath.
Hell yeah. roll a d6.
Okay. It says it's a 3.
Okay, I see a 3 as well. So
Okay,
you get 2
so I'm getting a 2.
But
and
yeah, you get
then-
to mark actions and
Yeah, I'm going to do 2 slaughter, 1 carnage.
Okay.
Yeah, just like,
Okay.
yeah, just no big deal.
I love the difference between slaughter and carnage is one of them is a distance, it's a range attack.
Yes, that's
the
pretty much
main
it.
difference.
It's very straightforward. And the ability I'm going to get, how do you feel? I want to ask the group real quick. Do you like flesh mend? Because it'd be extra armor, or do you want something like threaten or taunt? Like, what would be more fun for everybody in the group?
What were the options again?
Oh, well, any of them really, but I'm interested in taunt, threaten, or flesh mend.
I think it really depends, Jamie, on what your intent for Betula now is.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
right now
What-
it's
what-
to beat them up, like, you know, is to
Then
do
that's
that.
fleshmend, isn't
Yeah,
it?
Fleshman probably. Or you also wholesale carnage gain +1 scale when using carnage.
Oh yeah, to fight a group that is at a. Are they at a larger scale? I sort of like.
There are like 6 of them.
Yeah, there's 6 overall. I
Yeah.
think. Yeah, I
Oh
So
yeah, no,
scale
it
and
is.
tier
It
are
is. In,
different.
it is in the PDF. A typo written as whole. Oh no, yeah, wholesale. Yeah.
Yeah, it just looks like wholesome. I did think I typoed it
Yeah.
to say wholesome. We're like, this doesn't sound wholesome at all. No,
Because there can be wholesome carnage, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if that's true, I think that's a good idea. If I could get that +1 scale. Okay, so yeah, and I'm also willing to take the ban. How much will the mask ask of me to defeat all 6?
Yeah, let me look at the band tier. Sounds like Sounds like a ranking
I'm just
of fighting game
playtesting.
characters.
Just going straight into it.
No, it's fine. Yeah, you
Babylon.
okay. So you let's say you can succeed with standard effect. I think what is your main goal? Is it just get rid of this one that's on Yannick?
Oh no, all of them.
All of them. Okay, that's gonna.
That's why I asked for a ban. Because if it was just one, I would roll.
Yeah. Oh, I put a clock. That's the thing. I put a clock on the table. That to get rid of the poisons is 6-tick clock. So I guess the ban is like, do you want limited, standard, or great effect?
Yeah.
If you ask for extreme, your character dies.
Yeah. I think. I'm trying to go between standard or great. Yeah, I think I can take a level 3 one. So I'll go for desperate.
Okay, all right. The brigand succeeds with great effect and takes a dangerous ban. Several actions, a major mechanic, or entire masks are banned. Yeah, I think this is gonna keep you from using this mask until like the downtime after the next foray.
Yeah, I think I'm willing to say that it's because I get into I give myself too readily to violence. Like it kind of becomes like this. What do you call it? Like what a barbarian goes through. Like a
Berserk.
Yeah, like a berserk mode. I think that would be kind of cool, and it
Yeah.
would make sense story-wise.
Not that there's a developing pattern in this.
No, not at all. Betula is just totally fine, totally not desperate to
Yeah.
make up for past sins of their father.
Yeah.
It's totally fine.
I put a category for bans in your character sheets. It's at the very bottom, right before notes. So detail there that you're banned from the Mask of Violence until like 2 downtimes later. Yeah, but what do we see? Because you fill up 3 ticks of this clock as its great effect. What do we see when you save Yannick?
Yeah, I think as the way that it looks is for a moment, all 6 of the porcelain are frozen. And then there's just a blur of movement because it's not Betula, it's really the mask that just happens to have Betula underneath it. Appears behind each porcelain, and I think to justify the ban, hurts each one greatly, just taking away their weapons, smashing away parts of the porcelain, revealing what's underneath.
Yeah, I think definitely like you're halfway through
Ooh,
getting rid
I
of.
also get the +1 effect. I forgot because of the ability I took. But anyway.
Oh, right, yeah. So actually, that takes it up to let's see. Sorry, I'm just reading a question in the chat.
No worries. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, the porcelains aren't all down because you're 3-tick clock. They're 6-tick clock, and you're halfway through.
I'm just nervous. If we take all 6 of them out, where's the leverage on Tobin?
We'll see when we get back to him. I think we'll probably let's cut back in the carriage a quick bit, and they're being like, and the mouth, Micah's hand still on his mouth, and he's just kind of like nodding. It's like, and he's hearing the carnage around him, and he's suddenly just shaking. He's kind of shaking. He's like, you can't say anything because your hand is still in his mouth.
I mean, I take it off. I don't know if he wants to talk. I'll let him talk.
What are you? You're not. What's happening out there? He leans forward and then leans back because he suddenly got real close to your mask.
We're saving your life. We need you to. And so, is our plan still to separate this guy at this point?
I think he's just to scare the bejesus out of him.
I think that plan has gone up in smoke.
Okay.
But I
What
think you've
happened?
also been scaring him quite well. I think the plan is already
Yeah.
underway.
Yeah. You've got the rumor implanted in his head that he's gonna do something in the next hour involving that rumor.
What you need to do, Micah, is to make that stick. Because
Yes.
you've got an hour, but he mustn't come back.
Yeah. I think when he hears like, yeah, oh, you're saving, it's like, you're getting rid of the porcelain.
Yes, we are. You know, I keep forgetting his name.
Tobin. Yeah.
Right. He's Tobin, that this is what the vampires do to all those who they tire of, just like the Countess tired of the porcelain and thus threw them out here. They've tired of you and are now too willing to spend your blood uh for their own gain.
But I have to go. I have to go back to them with the porcelain. I have to go back. If they know I've turned code, they'll send. They'll send. And kind of like, do you know who they'll send?
Who will they send, Tobin?
They'll send the master of ceremonies at me. That's the one who controls the porcelain. Not just me, but on you as well. They're, if you get rid of all of them, if I don't come back with at least one,
You do not have to go back, Tobin. This is this is your moment. They are gone. You can disappear. You can escape from the vampires, from the Countess's orbit. And I feel like I am invoking like educate through all this. Even though this is totally like it's all based on lies, but that's what the mask I'm wearing. And,
yeah. So
like the Countess is not actually like wanting this particular guy dead, but you know, they want us all dead. As long as they get our blood.
Yeah. Okay. I think we'll come to you, and then we'll come to Drell. Because I have a way to keep Yannick in a desperate position. Don't worry. Yannick wants XP. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Let's get you to roll educate. Spend one mask essence to roll. One essence to roll mask action.
Okay.
And I think, let's see. You rolled, what was it you rolled? You rolled a 6, right, on this guy.
Yeah.
All right, so you're still in the control position then. Actually, no, you went up to a risky. But
yeah, I think it's probably risky, but I probably have a better effect now.
Yes. Yeah, risky, great.
Cool.
Do you want to push yourself or take a bargain from the mask?
I think I'd rather push myself at this point.
Okay. That's still normal stress, or you can spend 2 essence to push yourself.
So does essence stay after the end of a job?
No, it goes. Oh, does it stay?
Yeah.
Oh, it does. Huh.
Oh.
Yeah, it keeps all that blood and oath and promise in it as you share it amongst yourselves.
I'll take on some more stress. I'm only at 2.
Okay. So you want to roll? That's good. Okay, so that's
and actually, because it's already great, but I am curious because looking at the stat description for educate, teach, elucidate, or hold forth on a topic. This does seem like it's overlapping with sway again.
Oh. The thing is though, like I don't think there's both of them are 1. That's the thing. So there's not really a lower.
But in that case, doesn't it just okay? So they have to be different.
yeah, you can choose to roll the lower of the two action rings to gain +1 effect, and there's no lower there. They're both at 1 dot.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like that if that's the case, perhaps a thing to recommend in the writing of the rules is to make it clear, to clarify that, because I was assuming in this case it would just be better effect, but yeah, okay.
You're already
But
at
no, it's
risky
fine. I'm
point,
already
I'm
at
just
great,
saying.
but
Yeah,
I
but
was just curious.
You have to pay something, I think, for that better
Yeah.
effect. Don't you?
Yeah.
But yeah. So I'm rolling 2 dice. Let's
Mhm.
see my luck run out here. No, it's a 6.
Oh my gosh. See, this is why Celandine brought you this person. This is why. And I think like Tobin will kind of like sag a bit. And it's just, where can you go where the vampires can't get you? Where can you go that's safe?
The Brinkwood.
And I think you see in his eyes, I know Yannick's making a face there.
Making us a new friend, people.
Yeah, I think like Tobin's eyes, you can see the possibility, the possibility of another life is kind of like sprouting in his mind. It's like, oh, okay.
Well, but isn't the Brinkwood like literally the place where people who are like running from the vampires go? To clarify for fictionally,
Yeah.
because I'm
Yeah.
just to figure out from Yannick's response. Okay.
I think Yannick just doesn't want to hang out with this taxman. We'll get to Yannick in a moment. But yeah, I think you just need to take care of these porcelains and the trouble that Yannick's going to be in. Yes, there's going to be trouble for Yannick. I'm sorry. And I think you're pretty much done. Drell, you see Betula has just gone full violence on some of these porcelains, and yeah, they've ripped those apart. There's like 3 more. I'm counting each porcelain as like a tick on this 6-step clock. Drell, what do you do? Oh, I guess I should describe to you what the trouble Yannick's going to be in, so you can also help with that. The carriage driver has like Yannick. You see this? It's kind of like side because the porcelain I can't do Yannick, and you Yannick, you feel someone touch down in front of you, and the carriage driver is just standing above you, and you can see that his eyes are like red, and they say, I suppose it was only a matter of time before you brigands showed your face again. And like he's pulling out, like, I think Drell and Yannick can see he is pulling out a gun. And it's just about ready to do some action. Drell, you see this tableau of chaos. What do you do?
I don't know what I can do. I don't think I can take a vamp on because I don't have the stress for it. Because I've spent the stress on the basis that all I was going to do was sit in a carriage and scare the living bejesus out of somebody. So
Yeah.
I think the best I can do is because I'm still in control.
Yes.
So the best I can do is reserve an action until I can get Yannick out of there. But at the minute, I don't have a plan for that.
Okay. There could be like a number of ways. So if you want to like, Micah, you're muted. Sorry, Mike. Steven, did you say something?
Well, I was saying just a light on our carriage and drive us off into the sunset.
Yeah, but I have no finesse. I can't drive.
So we crash. So we drive into a lake.
Well, the thing is, you can always roll finesse. The thing is, you might need to spend stress. You might need to take a bargain. Someone could assist you, or you can take a ban.
But at the moment, isn't Yannick in front of that wagon?
Oh,
that's why we didn't drive it away in the first place. So that's what I got in my head. So as I say, I don't think I have a solution at this point.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Best laid plans come contact the reality. Rolls are terrible.
We just didn't know how bad of an actor Yannick actually was.
I just have to reserve that control condition until I can do something that I'm good at with less chance of failure.
Okay. Well, the thing is, yeah, you can take a ban to like just do an action. That's the thing with bands. You don't roll. You just do it.
Yeah, but I'm not sure that I'm not sure I want to give up anything on what was, a very low threshold mission when I think the next one could be tougher. So I'm going to reserve action at this point.
Okay. Okay, so I guess I'll ask Yannick then. How do you get out? What do you do with this seemingly normal carriage driver who seems to be more than you thought?
So he's like got red eyes and has pulled out a gun.
He's pulling out a gun.
Is pulling out a gun.
Yes.
I think Yannick sighs and like pulls back like the hood of the spare poncho and like straightens and says, I guess there was no fooling you.
What have you put up? What? I think like the carriage driver like smirks. What are you trying to do here?
I was buying myself time to think. I think I'm kind of trying to talk my way out of being shot.
Okay. That's gonna be desperate limited.
Yeah.
So limited.
Or at least by talking, maybe buy myself time to dive out of the way.
Okay. So this is kind of like okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. You're coming out of your poncho. Coming out of a cage. You're doing just fine. Coming out of poncho and yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. This is gonna be desperate limited.
Mm-hmm.
You're rolling with sway, I assume.
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm like trying to bluff my way. Like, oh, you're gonna shoot me. That's fine.
Okay.
Take your time.
Okay.
What can I do to improve the chance of Yannick working?
That's an assist, and you can just describe what you're doing, and you spend 1 stress to like either give them better effect or a die.
I mean, looking also at your stats and what you can do, like if you're looking
No, can I stop you, Stephen?
Oh, sorry.
I hate people telling me what I should do.
Oh, no.
On the basis of my stats.
Sorry. Because you were saying you were looking for that earlier, that's all.
Yeah, and I prefer to look.
Okay.
Thank you for the offer. Okay, so we've not seen Drell at all in this, have we? So Drell can appear 30 paces away and use command to say to the vamp, this isn't the vamp we've seen before, is it?
No, that was more Vel. And you would know because you put that thing on him.
Yeah. No, that's what I was checking. Why threaten a boy when you could face a man?
Oh gosh. Okay. Is it okay then if Drell rolls first? I think this is gonna be like a setup action for anyone who wants to do anything to this vamp.
Okay, so I start with.
Yeah, you're controlled. You got 2 dice. Controlled standard is the position in effect.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So just 2 dice.
Yes, just 2 dice.
I'll settle for that. 2 6s.
Wow. Okay.
I love Alan's 2 6s face. It's like.
Okay, buddy.
That's a critical success, right?
Yeah. It means it ups the effect. So I think the vampire looks away from you, Yannick, and he just smiles at like Drell's direction, and it's just, well, I reckon I can take you and then take the boy afterwards. And he pulls out another pistol and he raises 2 at you, Drell. I will say that Yannick, you're still in a desperate position, but that means like your effect will be better comparing on what you want to do. Desperate because you're still in like where you are, but you have increased effect thanks to like Drell's action.
So how does the critical work?
It increased your effects. It went from standard to great. So I think what that means is that like even though Yannick's in a desperate position, and I kind of want to keep him there so he can get some XP. That does mean the complication won't be as severe because your effect on him was great. He's got 2 pistols on you, Drell. He's almost kind of ignoring Yannick. So it's all kind of like it's really fictional, for sure.
So that's the space that gives Yannick a chance to do something.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think I know what I want to do. I think what in that like moment of the vamp like being distracted by Drell like talking in a distance and pulling out like his second pistol, I think I'm going to try and like attune with like the trees and things that are all around us and try and see if I can convince like a branch to just like wrap itself around the vamp's feet and like pull him so that he like falls on the ground.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you're still in a desperate position, but your effect is going to go from standard to great because of Drell's action. That's the setup action there. So you got 2 dice. Do you want to push yourself?
Yeah, and I'm gonna push myself, so that's an extra 2.
Yes.
So that's 3 dice now.
Yes.
I will roll 3 dice. And I am 5.
Hey, 5. Oh yeah, mark XP on that resolve column. You roll a desperate action. Okay, 5. So there's still gonna be a complication, but I think yeah, absolutely. You will. What does it look like when this branch wraps around this vamp?
I think it just like snakes from, because like I'm imagining we're like on a path and there are trees on either side, like it snakes on the ground and just like wraps itself around his feet and then just like tugs. So it's like tying his legs together.
Yeah, I think yeah. You're just this like cowboy duel between Drell and this vampire. And he's pulling out these guns, and suddenly a branch comes and like wow, around him. And like I think the complication because it's a desperate is I think the simple one is you're gonna take some harm, Yannick. I think it's because of Drell's action. It's gonna be. It would have been level 3, but I think it's gonna go level 2. He's gonna accidentally get a shot off near you, Yannick. And you're gonna take level 2 harm. Do you want to resist that?
I'll take it.
I can
where do I
resist it
put
for
it?
you.
Ooh, someone can jump in to protect.
Yeah.
Yeah, Betula, you see this. How do you jump in to protect?
Yeah, I'm going to jump in with the speed that violence gives me, push Yannick out of the way, and I will roll to resist.
Yeah. So unlike regular Fortune Dark, instead of taking 6 stress and minus the highest roll, the roll will just determine how much stress you take.
Yeah. So I'm gonna roll. Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
I have so many
you're rolling your prowess for sure.
Ooh, I was hoping to use Carnage from.
Oh right.
Yeah, since it's like. I'm
well, this is a resistance. This is a resistance roll.
Ooh.
That's
okay.
Protection is like you're taking the consequences.
Sure. So what was it again? Skirmish?
Prowess. So
prowess. Okay, got it. 2. I have 2. My highest is a 5.
Okay, so you are gonna take 2 stress. Yeah. You take 2 stress as you like. Yeah, you take the bullet. For Yannick, which is just lovely. But this vampire is kind of like I think he's dropped his guns as well. as he's kind of like hanging up there, being like, ah, and his hat kind of is falling off, so he's kind of like in the direction of the sun as well, which is not great for him, I assume. Um, but there is still just like those three kind of like porcelains. You can elect to like get away from here. I think Betula going full violence on some of them is like enough to like fulfill that oath, but there's still like three left. But inside the carriage, Tobin's just kind of like, okay, take me to the Brinkwood. Take me there, please. Please.
Was this vampire out off fighting Drell now?
Oh no, a branch has got him, and he is like hanging off a tree now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very well.
If he's fighting anyone, he's fighting Betula.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm cool. I swing out onto the top of the of the carriage, and I mean, if anyone wants to hop up alongside me to help out, I'm going to be trying to steer this carriage out away from these suckers.
Remember that the wagon that may still have some porcelains in it, it seems to be attached to the back of this.
Oh, I will say, because we're kind of coming close to time, and I know Jamie has to go straight into a game, just to not add that complication. I think all the porcelains got out of the wagon to like try and fight Betula.
So, I mean, I did say I fought all six, so
yes. So yeah, they're all. So this is your chance to like get away from here.
Yep, I'm gonna take
Yannick,
off with this.
Do you want to take shotgun and assist, or like I'm trying to see what Yannick would do?
I think Yannick is gonna hold out his hand to Betula, who like jumped in the way of this bullet, and is gonna be like, "You can get on the carriage. I'll run after it."
I think there's gonna be a moment where Betula realizes they've been shot, like they didn't feel it. Yes, perhaps that would be most wise. And I will jump onto the carriage. And I think when Betula jumps back on, the mask starts to fade away. And Betula will say, "So, about that kiss."
Drell, where are you? You're jumping onto the carriage as well?
No, I think I'm too far away. I'll simply meet them at the Brinkwood.
Vanish into the dark.
Yeah. I think I'm kind of not interested in making a roll to like get away from
We can go on a light jog behind the carriage.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think what we're gonna do in this time is, we'll drive off. Drell, you've watched this. You're probably, the last shot we see is kind of like, this vampire hanging off the tree as the sun kind of like sets up.
Oh, is he helpless?
Oh, he's helpless.
Oh, then I have to say I will don the mask of torment.
Oh my god! Okay.
Yeah, let's do it. Go.
I'm imagining he's like upside down.
I cannot pronounce it. Exanguinate is Jesuit.
Exsanguinate.
Yes, that's the one.
All right. So
let's go.
Yeah. Let me see. Vengeance.
Please tell me you at least waited until Yannick wasn't looking before you started torturing the vampire. Okay.
Okay. So what does it look like when you put on the mask of torment, Drell?
I think we talked about these wooden masks or whatever. I think that it's simply jagged, as if, teeth, jaws.
Okay. And I think the voice of torment is, let's see, what voice have I not used? We have sweet voice, we have whispering, we have rumbling, we have sad.
What about chalk on a blackboard?
Nice.
It's a harsh kind of whisper. Yeah, it's like if the other whisper we have, which is terror, is kind of like a staccato whisper. This one is like long and labored, and it's just Drell, foundling of the Fae, blessed with so much yet tormented by so much, by lost family, by the taunts of what could be. You swore to wreak vengeance on those who deserve it, did you not?
I did.
Then this one before you, this piece of meat that dared to put itself above everything else. Remind it what happens to those who think they're worthy of that position. Show them that all vampires draw blood as much as they feed on it. And when you're done with your work, make sure that they will know and they will tell all of Cardenfell that Drell, the founding, is coming for them.
Are you telling me another vampire has to survive?
Yeah, I'm not making it easy by just you killing them. Like I think the masks kind of want to be known. I think collectively they all are, that's why they keep asking you to not kill these things.
I mean, it's the Mask of Torment, not the Mask of Violence.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is, like, I don't want it to be easy to just kill this guy, you know.
I'm conscious of the time, Leandro.
Mhm.
Have you got time to do this now?
I think we might open next session with this, and we'll count all the XP for next session, because I know, like, in 10 minutes, Jamie has to go to another game, and that's perfectly fine. We got a lot done, I feel, at least in terms of integrating a new character and seeing kind of like almost like a day-to-day kind of view of the refuge, which is lovely. Yeah, so I'm gonna stop this recording there, and we stop at the sight of Drell putting on this Mask of Torment with this lone vampire wriggling as comrades drive off into safety. Yeah, I'm gonna stop this recording, and we'll see how our brigands get on in the future. So say goodbye to YouTube. I just want to say thanks again to these players. They're fantastic as always. Some great characters and great imagery. Yeah, goodbye YouTube.